Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam Allah, wa rasulallah. Welcome to our 6 o'clock class, which is the first class for today. This is our Aqidah class, which is the most important class that we teach here. And we are studying from the book entitled Diluting Wal Bara. And that's the name of the book. It's right there on the screen. Inshallah, you guys should be able to see it. There it is. There. Now you definitely can see it. Diluting Wal Bara. This book is written by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid, and you can pick up a copy at Amazon.com. The price is $19.99. $19.99. This trilogy. It's a three-book series. We studied the first book, Get to Know Your Lord. That speaks about the first part, the meaning of the first part of the Shahada. And then this is the second of the trilogy, which is Diluting Wal Bara, which addresses our allegiance as Muslims. And yes, we will cover the third of the series too. Yes. Okay, because sister here is asking, am I going to teach the third one too? Yes, inshallah. So for this book, we are now embarking upon chapter 16. I think it is, right, Fame? We're in 16, Fame?
Yes, 16.
Okay. We're in chapter 16. Chapter 16 of this book, it has proven to be a very, very informative chapter because it shows how Wal Bara, or allegiance and disassociation, how it connects to the testimony of faith, that Shahada, the La ilaha illallah. Okay. And I want everybody to take their books out now because I'm getting ready to put the PowerPoint up on the screen. There will be a quiz after today's lecture, so I want y'all to pay attention, take notes. There will be a quiz at the end of this lecture. Okay. And today we're still in chapter 16. We will be discussing, we're picking up at the section that addresses how La ilaha encompasses the rejection of shaitan and anyone or anything that claims divinity other than Allah. Does everybody understand that? Okay. When we do that, when we pledge that testimony of faith, when you make salat, when you recite the Taghut, sorry, my lips are chapped, and you declare La ilaha illallah, when you declare La ilaha, you are rejecting shaitan. And you are also rejecting those who claim divinity other than Allah. And this is a part of Wal Bara, the distancing. Let's talk about it. Now, as we've been speaking about for the past 2 weeks, the Shahada is the fundamental declaration of faith in Islam. It's what brings us into the folds of Islam, and it consists of 2 parts: negation, which is La ilaha, and affirmation, which is illallah. The negation emphasizes rejecting any deity that claims to be worthy of worship except Allah. It also signifies disassociation, disloyalty, against disloyalty to anyone or anything that claims to be worthy of worship other than Allah. It also signifies rejecting that we should obey anything other than Allah. Okay, so, this is the Shahada. And like I tell you guys, it should have been explained to many of you when you took Shahada. Okay, so you hear the Arabic word Taghut. Rejecting Taghut is a crucial aspect of this. And what does Taghut mean? Taghut in Islam refers to entities or individuals that command that you worship them, that command that you obey them in a way that is reserved only for Allah. And this is important. All the new shahadas, I want y'all to ponder that. Any individual or any entity that commands you to worship it or obey it in a manner that is reserved only for Allah, we reject it. We reject it. And this is what I spoke about yesterday. A lot of you that will come to us this time of the year because 'tis the season, asking about celebrating holidays like Christmas, New Year's Day. Many of you will come and ask about celebrating birthdays. Why is it that we don't celebrate birthdays? This is why. Any individual or any entity that commands that you worship them or obey them in a manner that is reserved only for Allah, we reject it. Y'all understand that? What is a birthday? It's a celebration. What are you celebrating? You're celebrating the birth of yourself. Just because this is the day that I was born, you're supposed to bring me presents. You're supposed to bake food for me. You're supposed to cater to me because this is the day I was born. Now you tell me, isn't that an act of worship? Now do y'all see why we don't celebrate birthdays, why you're not supposed to? And a lot of Muslims celebrate birthdays. This is an act of worship. You're worshiping your children. You're worshiping yourself. Because I am born this day, you have to obey me and bring me presents, make cakes for me. This is putting yourself on a level equal to Allah. First of all, you had nothing to do with your birth. Just because you're born ain't no different than anything else being created. Okay? Who said because you were born this day, you deserving of anything? You see that? Y'all see why birthdays is an act of worship. It's haram. It's haram. It's haram. You guys have to stop it. For my new shahadas, we don't celebrate birthdays, not for your children. You know, you're putting your children on a level equal to Allah. You're saying that because this is the day that your child was born, the world has to stop and bring it presents, gifts, cook for it. He's a god. She's a goddess. Y'all see that? Act of worship. Y'all better stop it. I was born and raised Muslim and they never celebrate a birthday. Never had a birthday party. Never, don't know nothing about that stuff. And I'm normal. You ain't hurting your children by not celebrating their birthdays. Subhanallah. Stop it. This is shirk. Okay? So, la ilaha. We negate anyone or anything that commands that you worship it or obey it in a manner that is only reserved for Allah. And not only is our birthdays an example, but this also includes oppressive rulers and other forms of misguidance that lead us away from Allah. Y'all understand that? That's Taghut. That's Taghut. We reject any deity, any ruler, and any other form of misguidance that will take us away from Allah and what he commands. That's la ilaha. Okay, that's Wal Bara. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Whoever disbelieves in Taghut and believes in Allah, then he has grasped the most trustworthy handhold that will never break. Subhanallah. This is a powerful verse of the Quran. It's emphasizing the rejection of anything or anyone that commands you to worship it or obey it as you would Allah. This verse emphasizes the rejection of that and to only obey and worship and believe in Allah. And you do this by disbelieving in anything that goes beyond the limits, anything that goes beyond the commands in obedience and worship. Does everybody understand that? That's why birthdays is haram. Okay? That's why I don't blindly follow anyone. Let me talk about that for a minute. This is a question that one of the youth asked me. What does it mean, Sister Layla, to blindly follow someone? To blindly follow someone means you only accept what that person says. Your sheikh, my teacher, let's use myself. My teacher is Sheikh Morsi. He is my teacher and I love him, but I don't blindly follow him. What does that mean? That means if Sheikh Morsi told me something that contradicts what Allah says, that contradicts what the Prophet said, I don't accept it. That doesn't make me hate him. That doesn't make me disown him. It's just I don't agree with him on that. He's still my teacher. He's still my sheikh, but I disagree with him on that. The only person that we accept everything from is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he was a prophet of Allah. That's it. Y'all just understand that? For example, the question that was asked that Sheikh Morsi answered today, okay, about working in a medical office where some of the people do abortions. Now, if Sheikh Morsi had gave me an answer saying, it's okay, you know, it's okay, Sister Layla, we can work in an abortion clinic that does nothing but abortions. It's okay, it's just a job. We're not supposed to be a part of that which is haram. Okay? If he can't give me an answer based on clear evidence from the Quran or clear evidence from the authentic hadith, I'm not accepting it. Okay? But he gave answer today based on clear evidence. He said, Layla, don't you know, not all abortions are haram. Some abortions are needed. I didn't think of that. He said some women have a troubled pregnancy. Some women have to abort the baby because her life is in danger. If she goes through with the pregnancy, it can endanger her life. So not all abortions are haram. Like he said, Allah is the one that gives us knowledge of technology. For every sickness, there is a cure. What's the cure for a woman who's having a troubled pregnancy that if she completes it, she will die from? Abortion. He said, but if it's a place that does nothing but abortions, then we don't work there. If you're a nurse and it's an abortion clinic, and they do nothing but abortions, then you don't take that job. Okay? But if it's an office or where they do female care and personal physicians and checkups, there may be some abortions, but you don't know. Some women may have to have those abortions. because you don't know their personal sickness, then that's okay. So with an answer like that, I can accept. But if he just said, yeah, you can work in an abortion clinic, it don't matter, have a good day. Wait a minute, and this totally contradicts our morality. This totally contradicts our belief system. So to blindly follow means that you accept any and everything that this one person says, even if it contradicts what Allah says. For example, a lot of my young brothers here have a problem with this weed. I don't understand why y'all smoke that stuff. Man, it stinks. But you're going to tell me that some sheikh, some famous sheikh is telling y'all that it's okay to smoke weed? Allah is clear. Allah says in the Quran, all intoxicants are haram. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was clear. Anything that befogs the mind is khamr, and all khamr is haram. But because some John Doe issued a fatwa saying it's okay, you're going to take what he said over what Allah said, over what the Prophet said. That's blind following. We don't follow anyone blindly except the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Everybody understand that? So that's what blind following is. People have to bring their evidence, and we're living in a day in which there's so many famous speakers, so many of them. We have to be careful who we take our knowledge from, because a lot of them are just good speakers, but are they basing what they say on clear evidence? That's the question. So that's what blind following is. I hope y'all understand that. So as Muslims, we don't blindly follow anyone. We're supposed to disbelieve and not accept and disassociate from anyone or anything that contradicts what Allah says, that contradicts what his prophet said. And that's the first part of the Shahada. That's the La ilaha. Okay? This is Al Bara. This is distancing. So, one of the early scholars, Ibn al-Qayyim, he was a student of Ibn Taymiyyah. This scholar listed many forms of Taghut. And so what we're going to do, what Sheikh Karim Abu Zayd did in this chapter, is he summarized them into 5 categories. And today we're going to speak about 2 of those categories of Taghut. The first one being, everyone knows from the picture, Shaitan. Okay? Shaitan. He opposes Allah's teachings. He opposes the values of Islam. His disobedience and his rebellion against Allah makes him the greatest enemy of Allah, and his followers enemies of Allah. Pharaoh, those ancient Egyptians whose pyramids and tombs Allah left as a reminder, they were followers of Shaitan. He seduced them to go against what the prophets sent to them, to call them to the truth, had to say. Okay? So anyone who follows Shaitan, they will end up in a bad position on the day of judgment. And as Muslims, we have to disassociate from him, disassociate from his whispers and all of that. We talked about how every one of us as Muslims, as human beings, when you reach the age of puberty, we have an angel assigned to your heart at the age of puberty. And there's also a jinn assigned to your heart. The angel inspires you to do what's good. The angel inspires you, to obey Allah. But that jinn, he inspires you to disobey Allah. That jinn is a follower of Iblis. He inspires you to do the things that Allah doesn't like. Sometimes we listen to the angel of the heart, but oftentimes we end up listening to that jinn. Okay? Iblis. Iblis is not a fallen angel. I talked about that before when we did the first of this trilogy. Iblis is what many say, many of the companions, such as Ibn Abbas, say, he's the father of the jinn. Just as Adam, alayhi salam, is the father of mankind, being the first human created. Ibn Abbas says, Iblis is the father of the jinn, the first of the jinn created. And he was allowed to live amongst the angels in paradise. But when Allah created Adam and commanded Iblis to prostrate to him, Iblis refused. Okay? And this is what caused him to be cast out of paradise. Does everybody understand that? And this is when Iblis pledged that he will take to the hellfire as many of the descendants of Adam as he can. So he's a clear enemy to humanity, who seeks to misguide us, who seeks to lead us away from the path of Allah. He's the one who invites us to do what's bad and dirty. He's the one who invites us to follow our desires and commit sins instead of listening to that angel. And how does he do that? By his awliya, his allies, whatever jinn that Allah has assigned to you. Okay? So his actions make him the embodiment of Taghut, because he opposes Allah's teachings and values. His rebellion against Allah demonstrates his rejection of his authority and his false claim of superiority over Allah's creation. This is the arrogance. And this attitude that Iblis has contradicts the principles of belief in Allah. And it prevents us from submitting to him. And that's what the word Muslim means. What is a Muslim? One who submits. We're so busy giving ourselves these other titles. Salafi, Sufi, whatever. We need to work on being Muslims. That's the title Allah gave us. We need to work on submitting, becoming people who submit to Allah. Okay? So Iblis, he's the number one enemy. He's the one that we all have to beware of. He's the one that encourages us to commit shirk, to associate partners, to celebrate birthdays. All that crap comes from the suggestion of that jinn assigned to your heart. And as Muslims, we're supposed to seek refuge in Allah from him and his influence. And we're supposed to rely on Allah, Allah's guidance and Allah's teachings and the example of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The second Taghut. As Muslims, we have to disassociate and show no loyalty or allegiance to anyone who claims divinity. People who claim divinity, these are people that assert that they have divine qualities that make them worthy of being worshiped. And this exists, you'll find this in a lot of the Sufis and other sects like that. Some of them, they're sheikhs, You're supposed to call upon their sheikhs, for help and worship them even after death and all of this stuff. Anyone that claims possession of divine qualities that are only reserved for Allah and to Allah, we reject. Does everybody understand that? This includes worshiping idols. This includes any type of association of partners with Allah. Okay? You come upon a person that claims that he or she has knowledge of the future. They can predict what's going to happen tomorrow. They can see what you cannot see. We reject that because these are people claiming attributes that only belong to Allah. This is why, as Muslims, guys, we don't do astrology. This is why, as Muslims, we don't indulge in psychicness. We don't go and get our future read, our tarot cards read, cups read. Because the people who do this are people claiming to have attributes that only belong to Allah. They claim that they have knowledge of the future, when Allah says that knowledge only lies with him. So we have to reject all of that. But unfortunately, a lot of Muslims indulge in it. When you wake up in the morning and drink your coffee, ask for the newspaper, you turn to the zodiac. You want to see what your horoscope is for today. This is Taghut. We can't do that. We can't read to see what my horoscope says is going to happen today. We're not into that zodiac sign thing, that numerology. This negates the fact that only Allah has knowledge of the unseen. Y'all understand that? New shahadas. So no zodiac signs. No horoscope reading. I told you guys, I used to get off into that stuff when I was a kid. I remember when I was 12 years old, I used to be so big in astrology and zodiac signs. I'm a Cancer. My perfect mate is supposed to be a Pisces. I remember telling my mother, I'm getting married. I was 12 years old, talking about I'm going to get married. I'm going to marry a Pisces because a Pisces man is my mate. The only person that can ever understand me and figure me out is a Pisces. Never found a Pisces. I ended up getting married all right when I was young, but it wasn't no Pisces. Allah fixed me. All the marriages I had were men that were nothing like me. And none of those men understood me. None of those men got me. I think it was Allah's way of dealing with me for being a silly kid who was into that astrology crap, So, we don't do that. For the new shahadas, no more horoscope reading, no zodiac signs. What's your sign? I'm a Cancer. I'm a Pisces. None of that crap. This stuff, it totally contradicts la ilaha. La ilaha. Okay? So, astrologers, they claim the ability to predict the future and interpret the position and movements of the stars. This contradicts the Islamic belief that only Allah knows the future. So we don't deal in astrology. Also, palm readers, another example. Palm readers, they claim to predict a person's future based on the lines on their palms. This practice is also associating partners with Allah. We reject that too. We don't do that. No reading palms. Also, psychics and mediums. Psychic mediums claim the ability to communicate with the dead and receive messages from them. This practice is also a form of associating partners with Allah. And we don't do that either. We don't go to psychics, none of that. And also tarot card readers. They claim that they can predict the future too based on the cards they draw. This is also Taghut. We don't deal in none of that. And that includes numerology, teacup reading, and all of that. Does everybody understand? So this is the first principle that I want everybody to ponder for today. La ilaha, we reject Taghut. Okay, and anything that falls in that category. So to see how well you guys understood what I'm talking about, I'm getting ready to give you a quiz. The quiz is not hard. So let's see how many of you can answer these questions. Question number 1. Which of the following emphasizes rejecting any deity deserving of worship except Allah? And in addition, it entails rejecting any object of worship besides Allah. Which of the following emphasizes those two things? Is it la ilaha or is it illallah? Illallah. Which one? Which part of the Shahada rejects that nothing, that rejects anyone or anything that claims to be worthy of worship besides Allah? Which one of those parts of the Shahada is rejects that? Go ahead. And by the way, I can't see any hands. If you're raising hands in the Zoom room, you have to just take the just type your answer.
It's the first one. La rejects anything or any idea that opposes the oneness of Allah.
Okay, do you guys agree with him? And by the way, Brother Murad, I got your donation too. Do you guys agree with him?
Yes.
MashaAllah.
Yes.
Exactly. La ilaha. When you say la ilaha, you are saying that only Allah is worthy of worship. Anyone or anything that comes between that, I reject it. That means birthdays and all of that stuff. Okay, look at number 2. Taghut in Islam refers to which of the following? Is it number 1, entities or individuals that exceed their limits? Number 2, entities or individuals that want to be worshipped as Allah? Is it number 3, leaders that lead others away from Allah, that like Shaitan or Iblis? Or is it all of the above? Or is it everything except the third one? What do you guys think? Taghut refers to entities or individuals that exceed their limits, entities or individuals that want to be worshipped as Allah, leaders that lead others away from Allah, all of the above, or all of the above except the third one. What do you guys think?
All the above.
Okay, you guys agree with her? She said all of the above.
I agree.
Good job, mashallah. Exactly, all of the above. You know, Taghut, this is a person that exceeds their limits. You think that you are equal to Allah. You think you're better than others. You're superior over others. Number 2, individuals that want to be praised and worshiped as Allah. That's what that birthday crap is. And 3, leaders like Iblis, leaders like Fir'aun, leaders like Elijah Muhammad that lead others away from Allah. Okay, good job. Let's look at the next question. Shaitan, he calls to that which contradicts which of the following? Tawheed, disobeying Allah, worship of himself, or arrogance. And what I want to do with this question is let's take them all individually. Let's look at the first one. Does Shaitan call to that which contradicts Tawheed? What do you guys think? Does Shaitan call people to that which contradicts Tawheed? What does Tawheed mean? Is Shaitan
Oneness of Allah, and yes, he does.
Yes, he does. Good job, Amina. Yes, oneness of Allah. That's what Shaitan does. He calls us to that which contradicts the oneness of Allah. We have to be careful of that. Shaitan's wanted to get you to want to do things that fall in the category of shirk out of curiosity or whatnot. Good job. What about the second one? Shaitan calls to that which contradicts disobeying Allah. Is that true or false? Does Shaitan call to that which contradicts disobeying Allah? What do y'all think?
No.
Yeah. Good job.
No.
Good job. Good job. Good job. It's the opposite. Good job. What about the third one? Shaitan calls to that which contradicts worship of him. Is that true or false? Does Shaitan call to that which contradicts worship of him?
Nope.
Good job, Fresno. What about the last one? Shaitan calls to that which contradicts arrogance. Is that true or false? Good job. All of these things are Shaitan. Shaitan is all about arrogance. He's going to push you to be arrogant, to think that you're not worthy of correction, that you know it all, that you're better than everyone. Shaitan will call you to worship him. Remember, this is why we don't even pray when the sun is rising. We don't pray when the sun is setting, because every day when the sun rises and when the sun sets, Shaitan stands in the front of the sun so that any idiot that worships the sun can bow and prostrate to him. That's how arrogant he is. Okay? So he calls people to worship him. And he's the one that puts the idea in your mind to disobey Allah. He's the one that's seducing you brothers to smoke that marijuana. Okay, good job, Fresno. Good job. What about this, guys? Next question. Which of the following actions can be said to fall in the category of calling to divinity, and why? Let's start with this one, birth. And by the way, I got this PowerPoint messed up. Start with the first one, birth. Having people celebrate your birth. Does this action fall in the category of calling to divinity? And if so, why? Calling to divinity means worship. Does this action fall in the category of having people worship something other than Allah? And if so, why? What do y'all think? Having people celebrate your birth, or what y'all call it now, your born day. Just because we change the words don't make it different. The day my born day. Does this fall in the category of divinity? And if so, why?
Yes, because you're celebrating somebody. So you're like literally setting aside a day for that person and doing something special for them as if like, you know, they're worthy of it.
Exactly. Yes, it does. This is that birthday stuff. So I don't want none of you Muslims listening to me to ever celebrate a birthday again. Y'all can't say y'all didn't know, because I broke it down to you. Birthdays are haram. Period. Dot. Period. Dot. This is an act of worship. You're calling some others to divinity. You're not God, Allah. You're not worthy of worship, and neither are your children. You're no different than anyone else. There is no divinity within you or your kids. Good job. What about this one? Celebrating the day you and your husband got married. Is this calling to divinity, and why? Now, see, I told you I'm going to make it get a little harder. Celebrating the day that you and your husband got married. Does that fall in the category of worship, and why?
No, it doesn't, because it has nothing to do with worship. It's just you two celebrating your reunion.
Okay, do you guys agree with her answer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, exactly. There's nothing wrong with an anniversary day. This ain't got nothing to do with worshiping anything. This is not an act of worship. This is just me and my husband going out having dinner and thanking Allah for allowing us to still be together. He put up with me and I put up with him. Okay, this is not worship. So that's okay. What about this one? Thanking Allah for blessing you with a child by having an aqiqah. Does that fall in the category of calling to divinity, and why? Latifa?
I would say no, it doesn't fall in that category, because you're thanking Allah. You're not thanking the child.
Exactly.
Or the child.
Exactly. And this is a question that one of the sisters, let me look on YouTube. I keep forgetting I'm on YouTube too. Let me, because I'm looking at the Zoom, my students. One of the sisters here on YouTube asked me this question and sent me an email this morning. I was reading this evening when I woke up at 6 o'clock. This morning, I wake up in the evening. This sister sent me an email. I was reading it. And yeah, look at that. You like that? It's Cover Girl, Chanel. I'm sorry, Cover Girl. This is Chanel. The sister was saying she wanted to see my you can tell we a female website, man. This is Chanel. But anyway, yes. The sister asked me, what's the difference between celebrating a birthday and an aqiqah for your child? A big difference. It's a big difference, as Latifa said. When you give an aqiqah for your child, this is not celebrating the child. You're sacrificing a lamb or a sheep or a goat to Allah. Thanking Allah for blessing you with a child. This is an act of worship that you're doing to Allah. You're not doing it to the child. Okay? Some people could, like, say, for example, I had a brother email me a couple of months ago. He sent me a question. He said, one of the brothers in United Kingdom, he said, Sister Layla, I got a new job. And I was so happy that I sacrificed a sheep. I sacrificed a sheep in the name of Allah and I gave it away in charity. Was that lawful to do? Yes. You were thanking Allah. What a great way to thank Allah. He thanked Allah for blessing him with a new job by sacrificing a sheep and giving it all of it away in charity. Oh my goodness. You know, that's not that's worshiping Allah. All actions of worship belong to Allah and no one else. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. So in aqiqah, you're sacrificing to Allah as a means of thanking him for something. Whereas with a birthday, you're not doing anything to Allah or for Allah. You want the people to come and praise and glorify your child. Your child becomes the action of the worship. Your child is the one that they're sacrificing to. This is shirk. Y'all understand the difference? The new shahadas here. Okay, this sister here, go ahead, type the whole thing. I want to make sure that the new Muslims understand. Okay, good. She said that nobody's broke it down that way. Now she understands exactly. My computer. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. My internet is unstable. Hold on. Girls on YouTube, Ifty or Fame. I hit a button and it. Uh-oh. I hit a button. Give me a second. Okay, I'm good. I hit a button on my computer and it made me unstable. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, exactly. That's the difference. An akika, you're thanking and sacrificing to Allah. Birthdays, you're sacrificing or thanking your kid. You know, astaghfirullah. What about this, guys? Making charts based on the placements of the stars when a person is born and predicting his or her future. Does that fall in the category of calling to divinity, and why? You make a chart based on where the planets and stars were positioned when a person was born. And based on that, you can predict his or her future. Is that calling to divinity, and why? Go ahead. Am I still connected?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
I was going to say, yes, this is calling to divinity because you're saying based upon the stars and things that you can predict what's happening next, and only Allah knows what's going to happen in the future.
Exactly. MashaAllah. Yes. So this is why we don't do those charts. Like I said, Latifah knows. Remember when we was back into that, Latifah? When I was young, Latifah, she's known me all my life.
Don't be putting me in there with you, even though, yeah, we was doing it.
Girl, yeah, we was doing that stuff. We was into that astrology. What was it? Latifah's a Scorpio. My thing was, my mate, I'm a Cancer. That's why me and Latifah been friends for life, you know. But my perfect soulmate supposed to be a Pisces. Latifah, no, I've been looking for a Pisces man all my life. That's why I had disastrous marriages. Every man I married was the opposite. Oh, shirk. She's a Scorp. The Scorp was my best friend. Pisces supposed to be my main. Tifa, we did some crazy stuff. What was wrong with us, Tifa?
Young and dumb and in love.
Young, dumb, and in love. Y'all see what love's got to do with it. Got to do with it. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, Latifah was like 18 and I was 14. When I got married, I was like 14 and she was 18. Ooh, we were young, dumb, and stupid. And I didn't get no Pisces. I had an Aries. Oh, no, a Capricorn, the worst one. Yeah, stupid. All right. What about this, guys? Surveying the elements and guessing if it may or may not rain. Now, this is a question that one of the brothers asked the other day. He sent me an email. I meant to answer it, and I didn't because I was asleep. Like a new weatherman. The weatherman, he looks at the elements and guesses if it may or may not rain this week, next week. Does this fall in the category of calling to divinity, and why? What do y'all think about that? What's the difference between that and making a chart based on the stars and predicting the future? What's the difference?
I heard the meteorology. They're basically.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold up. You and that mic, take it off Bluetooth. Okay, and then give your answer. Go ahead.
My apologies.
Now you sound perfect. There you go. Don't she got the cutest voice? Got the cutest little voice. By the way, that program we went to, you see they hiring voice people.
Yep.
You make sure you apply because you got the perfect voice. Okay. Just don't use that Bluetooth.
Yes, yes. My apologies, I forgot. Yes, but the weatherman is basically, his whole study is a guess based on patterns of the weather. So he comes up with a conclusion, a hypothesis on that. we all know that it's coming from Allah, inshallah. It's just going to rain. It's not based on a prediction. So no, it's not divinity. He's not worshiping anything, saying that very entity he's worshiping for the outcome to be the weather. So no.
Y'all agree
and
with
not only that,
Yeah,
I
go
would
ahead.
like to add to what the sister said. Also, Allah gives us such things as like tools and technology. So that's what they're basically using just to make a guess of what the weather is going to look like. But only Allah knows if it's going to rain and stuff. That's why sometimes their predictions are wrong. And so yeah.
Exactly. Both of them are right. Excellent. It's the weatherman is just making a guess, a prediction based on the technology that Allah has given us. That's why you will never hear a weatherman say, I know for a fact it's going to rain tomorrow. He said, no, we can look at the clouds and the temperature and guess that it may or may not. And they'll tell you, Allah knows best. Whereas the psychic person is different. This person says, I can look at the position of the sun, the moon, the stars, and I know what your future is going to be. I can tell you this is going to happen tomorrow. That's going to happen tomorrow. It's a difference. The weatherman is taking a guess. And they'll tell you this is just a guess. Whereas the other people telling you that they can predict. And that's the answer. Do y'all understand the answer? For the brother and sister that asked that question, y'all understand? Good job. Good job. Exactly. As Sakina said, they're using scientific information. Yeah, they're not making a prediction. They're making a guess based on scientific information. Good job. And they always tell you 99%. If you guys notice, the weatherman, they always use percentages. They'll say there's a 10% chance of rain. There's a 5% chance to rain. Looking at the sky, it's black. Since the sky is black and there's thunder, there's a 99.99 chance. Okay? So they're doing it based on what they can see. And the technology that Allah has given, they're not professing divinity. The weatherman is not professing any divinity at all. They're just making scientific guesses. So that's a big difference than a prediction. Okay, that's a big difference. So mashallah, that's what la ilaha is all about. La ilaha. Only Allah is worthy of worship. No one and nothing else. Only Allah is worthy of my obedience. No one, nothing else. I don't blindly follow anyone but Allah. Okay? I don't put anyone or anything on the level with Allah. Not my desires, not my children, not my husband, not anything. Only Allah knows the future. And I'm going to disassociate from anyone or anything that comes between that stands in the way of that. Everybody understand? That's la ilaha. Okay, any questions?